Welcome to the Heresy Report. Today we have Ryan the Retrograde presenting an investigative report.
Thank you, John. I have uncovered a most pernicious heresy that afflicts the Holy Roman Catholic Church, outside of which no one at all is saved. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard before of the Protestant heresies of Sola Fide and Sola Scriptura. Those are the two main Protestant ones. But there's this new heresy that is afflicting the Catholic Church in our time, and it's the heresy of Sola Obedientia. By obedience alone will you be saved. And it's very pernicious because you have the magisterium of Pope Francis with its new edicts and changes of doctrine and catechisms. And if you just point out, you're like, excuse me, but you changed the catechism, and I don't know if you can do that. You need to obey the magisterium of Pope Francis,
or you're not
Catholic. You're not Catholic, and you're outside the church, a schismatic Protestant. And so you have this. There's no question about like what is right or wrong. It's merely the question of who is in authority and did he pound his fist. That's what you have to listen to. It's just fist poundings and whatever the oracle of the Vatican, whatever comes out of his mouth as far as what the new and latest cool doctrine is. That's what you have to believe. And I just wanted to point out that this is not authentic Catholicism here. Authentic Catholicism comes from, according to all the magisterium of the church, all of it, including Vatican II, is our doctrine comes from Scripture and tradition. Okay, Scripture is set in stone, and we know all about that. Okay, it's the books of the Bible as interpreted by the church. And then you have the tradition. Well, tradition is the doctrine that's handed on from the church. And by definition, tradition can't change because it's what is inherited. And we're 2,000 years from the time of Christ. There's like very little new that can be introduced. You can do a little twist. It's like we're a Bob Ross painting. We're almost at the very end. You can put a highlight on a tree. Oh, here's a happy little rock in this brook. And let me sign my name over here. That's where we are now. You can't go in there and say, well, I don't like these trees. Let's bulldoze this house and put up a shopping mall. It doesn't work, okay? That's not tradition. And so put your teachings into the perspective of Scripture and tradition. Obedience is subservient and serves Scripture and tradition, the doctrine of the church. The whole reason that we have obedience is so that you can effectively teach the gospel, the faith that's given to us by the church through the creeds and through the magisterium.
But that was then. This is now, and there's a deadly virus. Now, my bishop, my ordinary, is telling me that, well, he already told me, it's very important that I don't come to Mass. And he said, I don't need to come to Mass. And that's, I don't need those sacraments that God will provide. That's what he told me, and he's the bishop, so he's right.
Obedience. To add to that, if you do decide to come to Mass against the bishop's better judgment,
yes,
then you need to wear a mask. You're required to wear a mask.
Well, because obedience.
Yeah, so how do we know? And then a lot of people are going to be like, but I don't know anything. How do I judge? Oh, isn't this Protestantism? Oh. Well, let me tell you what the definition of Protestantism is. It's teaching a doctrine that's contrary to what the Catholic Church teaches, okay? So when you encounter all these people who are pounding the table and talking about obedience, you just look at it and you say, is this in accordance with what the Catholic Church teaches and has always taught? Or is this a
always
novelty?
And everywhere?
Yeah, St. Vincent of Lerins. Is this the same thing that we've been taught all the time, or is this a novelty? And like 100% of the time, when they're pounding the table and saying, you're disobedient, it's all about some novelty. Nobody's out there saying, like, pounding the table and saying, you need to accept that the book of Hebrews, St. Paul's epistle to the Hebrews, is canonical scripture, where you need to accept that the Eucharist is one of the 7 sacraments. They're not there pounding the table about that. It's you need to accept that the death penalty is inadmissible. You need to accept what Pope Francis has said, that homosexuals, they too need to be part of a family, whatever, all that stuff. Or that the Amazon Synod has said that we need to accompany, and in certain circumstances, blah, 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 that married people living in adulterous unions should receive Holy Communion, whatever, okay? So, what is the object of the obedience? Because obedience is nothing more than a tool. It's like saying, you need to accept the hammer. Okay, well, what am I supposed to do with it? Am I supposed to whack you over the head? Or am I supposed to go over there and pound a nail? Okay, same thing with obedience. Am I supposed to use obedience to whack you over the head? Or am I supposed to use it to get you to teach the gospel, to celebrate the Mass properly, etc.? So, to start using, the Sola Obedientia is a heresy. You have to be very careful with this. It's one of these modernistic tools that they have nothing to fall upon. They've already thrown away the scripture and tradition, and so they just fall back upon, you do what I say, darn it. I'm in charge, and I control all the keys to the property. I control all the money. I can suspend you willy-nilly. I'm a bishop speaking here. I'll suspend you and strip your faculties, you bum priest, you, unless you wear a mask. And you're not allowed to preach over 5 minutes. And if you do, I'll suspend you too. Talking about our good friend Bishop Lester. Is he an archbishop?
He's an archbishop. Well, he's also a virus bishop.
Yeah. Is that an additional title with virus? Is he an arch-virus bishop?
Yeah, I guess.
I think.
Or is he a virus archbishop? Anyway.
Arch-virus.
Well, we should wait. We should wait until the church tells us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obedience, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been the Heresy Report. We are the laity,
and we will not be silent.